mustache was worth it!
You are all I want. I don't mind giving you.
Mission Impossible Fallout is directed by Christopher McQuarrie. It stars crazy marathon runner man Tom Cruise. It stars Henry Cavill, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, Michelle Monaghan. It's got a great cast. This film is one of the craziest roller coaster rides you will experience all summer, and it's something that if you're an action fan, you cannot miss. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan. I feel like all of the films are different because they have different directors, and thereby the tone and setting and everything is pretty much different film to film besides Tom Cruise. And this film brought back the director of the fifth one, which I liked a lot, but I was a little bit weary that it might feel a little samey to that one. I feel like the fifth one and the fourth one are the closest to each other as far as like themes and set pieces and stuff like that goes, but this film feels completely different. It had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. Like, there are so many scenes that I was like gasping for air because I was like, oh my god, like this stuff is just coming at me like full-fledged. And that's one of the coolest things about this film, is that it never slows down. There are several moments that felt like typical movie moments where you just had a huge action scene or just had a huge set piece or a car chase or something, and you're like, okay, now it's going to slow down, we're going to get some dialogue, we're going to get some more story. Nah, it breaks down like a lot of different like movie barriers that I've seen in the past and different like generic things, and it tries to just get rid of them in favor of keeping the pace up, keeping the action up. And something that helps with that a lot is the music. The music in the Mission Impossible movies is usually very good, and this one does not disappoint. It has a very like almost like Hans Zimmer feel, where it like he uses a lot of different clocks and stuff like that, especially in Dunkirk. And this has that same feel where it has your tension going up, and it feels like it's all building towards a certain big breaking point, in which most of the cases it does. So this film starts like most of the Mission Impossibles do, where we see Tom Cruise doing something and then he receives a message from the Impossible Mission Force, IMF. He receives the message, and the message will display on a screen or usually on a phone or something about his newest mission, and if he should choose to accept it and everything, that this is what's going to follow. And I kind of had like an epiphany in this one that I haven't had before with Mission Impossible movies, that these kind of act like a crawl, like the Star Wars crawl, where it's getting the story set up, it's telling us where the world is at that we're in, and it's also getting our characters and gonna kind of tease or foreshadow at what we're gonna be doing for the next 2 hours in this crazy ride. And I really love that they do that in these. I love that you can set this stuff up without having some huge long exposition scene or something like that, that we get details about what's going to take place in the next little bit and what has taken place like just a little bit before. And this one does a really good job of that. From there, we get a fantastic intro opening action scene that completely caught me off guard. I was not expecting, and what follows after that I also was not expecting. They kind of harken back to the first Mission Impossible film. That's something I really like about Fallout, is it harkens back to a few Mission Impossible movies. Like, it's kind of on the nose that if you hadn't seen them, you probably wouldn't understand. But if you have seen them, you're like, hey, I get that. And like I said with my Ant-Man review, it's kind of random, but anytime a movie can make you feel like you're in, like, on an inside joke or in the know of a joke, it makes you feel good and it's satisfying. Now, let me learn you guys something real quick here. Whenever I was in film studies, my teacher really, really liked thrillers, action films, and stuff like that. And she taught us that every single thriller, every single action movie should have several main parts, main themes to it. The first one was some sort of femme fatale, a usually female character that you're not sure if she's on the good side or on the bad side, and she kind of like changes the game for our character. This movie definitely has that with Ilsa, who's back from the fifth movie. And it also needs a MacGuffin, the thing that everyone wants, the thing that the good guys and the bad guys want. Now, sometimes in Mission Impossible Fallout, the MacGuffin takes place over 4 different items, whether it's a person or a bomb or a trigger or something that all of the characters need. And she also said that it needs red herrings. red herrings are something that is to throw you off so you're not sure where the story is going to take place. This movie has so many of those, so many things that you think it's going to go one direction and then it takes a huge turn and changes the game or whatever. This movie just did such a great job of tricking me, of showing me a path that a similar action movie, something that we've seen a million times before, and then just flipping it over and changing it and tricking me and making it so I don't know what's going on, or I don't know how the story's going to unfold. And I really, really liked that. Several times, two really big ones in particular, that this film had the characters about to make a really stupid decision that we've seen a million times before in film, where it would cause the bad guy to escape, and then finally they're back chasing him again, and this movie just flipped that over and didn't do it and had something really clever instead that it did, and I really, really liked that about it. I think maybe the biggest problem people will have with this movie, there's not really any problems to me, but one of the biggest problems I think people will have with this movie is that its story's a little bit been there, done that. I mean, there's only so many times that Tom Cruise can go rogue, or that we'll have them chasing a certain guy and everything, but this movie just does it executes it so much different than I've seen before, that it just doesn't make it feel like you've seen this before. It doesn't make the story feel similar. But I'm sure a lot of people won't like some of the story beats are pretty much the same that we've seen in past ones, or at least a combination of what we've seen in past Mission Impossibles. That's it for the review. Roll the credits, show the Henry Cavill picture, show the mustache, show it, mustache.
You are all I want. I don't mind.
Come on now, I can't talk about a Mission Impossible movie without talking about the action scenes, the set pieces, the crazy stunts, Tom Cruise breaking his ankle. Oh! Action scenes are so good in Mission Impossible Fallout. They're really good in all of them, but this one, they just stood out so much to me. There's this crazy scene with them jumping out of a plane that looks like it's one take, that apparently Tom Cruise jumped out of a plane over 100 times for. He breaks his ankle jumping out of a window. He learned how to fly a helicopter for a certain scene in this movie. It's insane. The action scenes are just so good. I don't want to spoil any of them too much. I mean, there's some that you've seen in the trailer. The bathroom fight scene's really good. It's been shown, but the full extent of that scene has not been shown in the trailer, and it's just so damn satisfying. And there's a scene in a helicopter, this maybe the best helicopter scene I've ever seen in a movie. I don't know what that would be between. I can't think of another one that's nearly as good. Maybe the first Mission Impossible, but the helicopter scene in this is just so good. And there's crazy car chases that you think are ending, but then they just keep going, and guys are traded off, and you really got to pay attention sometimes to the action scenes because they're moving so quick. Something I was thinking about, the action scenes move quick, but the camera placement, the editing is really good that you're never lost. There's no Bourne effect or Quantum of Solace effect or Hunger Games effect where you can't figure out what's going on because they're shaking the camera around. No, Mission Impossible Fallout is so confident in these action scenes and these stunt work that it will leave the camera right on Tom Cruise. It'll show him climbing up the rope of a helicopter or something. It'll keep it right on his face so you know it's not some CGI mask, it's not some stunt double, it's actually Tom Cruise doing this stuff. Now I guess that's one of the reasons why the tension is so high up, is because you know this is him actually doing the things. You know it's him on a motorcycle, you know it's him jumping out of a plane, you know it's him flying a helicopter. And I think Tom Cruise is very underrated for what all he's done in these movies. You know, people talk about it a lot, that he's getting up there in age and everything, but he is just so on point, and he does everything that the director asks him to do, and I'm sure he takes the extra mile. I mean, he broke his foot and came back, finished the scene. It's insane. The third act of this movie really ramps up the action scenes, and there's a moment in it where there's 4 different stories going on at the same time, where you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen to this character? And the characters you care so much about because of your previous time with them in the previous films, that you really don't want anything to happen to him. I mean, I don't want anything to happen to Simon Pegg's Benji or Ving Rhames' Luther or Tom Cruise. I want them to be safe and everything so they can come back for another movie, but also because I care about their characters. And that's something that this movie did a really good job of, is making it feel kind of scary whenever these characters are like disarming a bomb or flying a helicopter or doing these crazy things. And it keeps it up by like really good editing of showing you one character doing something while the other one's doing this, and then another one's doing this, and then, oh, this character you haven't seen in a while, well, they're back and they're doing this, and it's just mind-blowing like how amazing the action scenes are in this. Mission Impossible Fallout exceeded my expectations. It's everything I want out of a Mission Impossible movie. And it's in the 6th in the franchise. That's insane. It might be my favorite in the franchise as well. I'm going to see it again in LA this weekend, and maybe then I'll be able to decide between that and the third one. But because of all that, and because of how great it is, I have to give this movie a high score. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying that. But I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. And just because of everything it does right that I've already talked about, in an age where we're so used to CGI and stuff like that used for our action scenes, this movie has practical effects, practical stunts, real actors doing the stunts on camera, and it's just something we're not used to anymore. And I feel like this isn't a niche type movie. This is something everyone can enjoy, and you should go out, see it on a huge screen, enjoy the good sound, and just enjoy this awesome movie. Oh my god, I'm so proud of you. You watched all the video. You did it. You made it to the end. And now you can watch me babble more and say more if you go right here and watch one of my old videos, or go over here and subscribe and watch all of my old videos. And even if you wouldn't do that, I really appreciate it if you scroll all the way down past all these other similar videos to mine that aren't as good and leave me a comment and let me know what you think I did. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.